It's not much, but it's indeed the first footage of Battlefield 2025, or that's the best thing we can call it at the moment since there's no official name known just yet. Though, if you go looking in the files of the updated assets on the official Battlefield and Battlefield Labs web pages, they're named Glacier as a codename. But this footage, showcasing a bit of the chaos of the Battlefield experience, is pre-alpha footage and the very first look at what to expect. From the multiple sequences, you can get a look at the view model of an M4 with an EOTech Holo, an M1 Abrams tank, explosives and tight street-focused combat, and destruction-oriented clips culminating on bringing the street side face of a building down with an RPG. Mix that in with what appears to be the Battlefield 3 OST, and you've got a clip that's piquing the interest of many. This trailer, or I guess more so teaser footage, was the first part of an announcement for Battlefield Labs and a direct community message from Battlefield teams. So what is Battlefield Labs? Well, in Battlefield's own words, Battlefield Labs is a place for us to test concepts and experiences we're excited about with you, our players. We want our community to play a key role in the future of Battlefield, and this is an opportunity for many of you to do just that. We will test almost everything, but not everything you see will be complete. To ensure that your feedback has impact, players will experience, under NDA, different pieces of an unfinished puzzle, so we have time to incorporate your feedback into the final product. So this is basically one giant CTE, or community test environment, started all the way back in Battlefield 4 and most recently employed on a smaller scale for 2042. But they went on record to say we've done similar things in the past, but this is a whole nother level. We're doing it before launch of the game and we're doing it with so much more content. So this is the furthest out they've done this, which is interesting. And it's also interesting given the fact that this will be seemingly given to people at random with no official information about the next game being detailed thus far. So leaks, even if in an isolated capacity, sort of like testing out various different areas of what the game may offer, even if it's not like a, hey, play this level of a build or something like that, leaks will almost certainly happen, and that begs the questions. They have to anticipate that, right? So will we be taking almost a community approach to revealing the next game as well? Like, leaks, while not coordinated, would be an intentional non-encouragement, like counting on the leaks so that if someone says, hey, did you see that leaked gameplay? Not only does it generate buzz for the game, but it also allows for being able to pick the brains of the feedback and the opinions of people that have commented on that didn't quite play it. It allows for more community feedback in the general reception beyond those just in the lab's playtest builds. So it might be a bit of a tinfoil hat theory, but I think it's kind of plausible when you consider how in-depth the scale they seem to be wanting to go to roll this out before anything is ever officially confirmed. We don't even have a name for the game at this point, so who knows? But anyways, in this announcement, they confirmed a little bit of what was upcoming with the development. Battlefield Studios was touched on a bit, where it's the 4 studios working on content. You have DICE, Motive, Ripple Effect, and Criterion. DICE is going to be focusing on the multiplayer with the fundamentals of the game as well, Motive being multiplayer maps and single player, coming along with Criterion there to build the campaign that is going to be returning in this next upcoming Battlefield game. And then Ripple Effect LA is working on a new offering, which they said was something that they're working on, an experience that is really going to open Battlefield up to a whole group of new players, but really still exciting that core audience that has made this franchise so successful. Now, the rumor up until this point has been a free-to-play BR, and that's been talked about for a while. We discussed that even here on the channel a while back, but whether or not that's actually the case, it seems like they're just pushing towards a new experience, and that's the most we know of officially at the moment. Though, who knows, if that is the case, that could be something that could thrive or might fall short. Personally, just because I haven't paid too much attention to it, I'd be curious to know if a lot of people are still interested in the Battle Royale, if it is as big sort of across the broader gaming community, as opposed to just like, say, Warzone or something that we may be focused more so here on the channel with. But I'd be curious to see if that is indeed a BR, if it has that staying power that even so late into the sort of foray of Battle Royales across the gaming landscape, I'd be curious if it is a heavy hitter at that point. I think there's the prospect of that, but we're probably getting too far ahead of ourselves. Now, names associated with this project, of course, there's a lot that are returning, a lot of big name players involved with the studios, with the general development of the game upcoming. So, I mean, fingers crossed this is something that allows that to be a signal of the confidence of what they're trying to build here. A lot of people probably staking reputations or whatever the case you want to say, but of course, that's one of those things that we'll have to wait and see if it actually lives up to the expectations of things. But I guess beyond that, when does this launch? When should we get more information on that? Now, the current rumors are still said to be this year, and after all, it's only February, so there's a lot of time. We usually see these games launch again in like Q4 or at the earliest, late Q3, that we end up seeing these blockbuster FPS titles launching. So we still have plenty of time, but it is still, of course, pre-alpha at the moment, so things could be subject to change. Dev windows with pre-alpha is a very wide range of a spectrum here. Like, pre-alpha does not mean block out builds of the games where it's the most rough cuts of anything you'll ever see, but it's also not indicative of the game's launch product. Alpha and pre-alpha really are about finding the things that work while the game is in a playable state, presentable but nowhere near finished. So that could indicate, like, maybe, hey, things are going along really well and we could ship this year, or maybe they take way more time than people may anticipate and they end up launching next year, taking a whole year to gather feedback before moving forward, perhaps. I mean, they did say they're taking their time with this one, where a couple of the quotes stated, "This game has so much potential. It's about giving the team the time to really hone their craft." Another one was, "We have to prototype, play test, get feedback, and then repeat that loop over and over and over again. We have to find gameplay that resonates with the players and then build on that." So it is something that, yeah, could absolutely still be happening this year, but also I don't think that a lot of people would be upset if they take a few more extra months to develop something that is a much better product than, say, trying to rush and meet a 2025 expectation. So I guess we'll wait and see on that one. But in terms of other details that you may have gathered here from this video and this sort of breakdown is honestly something that's a little interesting, because it's not necessarily pointing towards like the development of something like that, but it could be the start of an ARG. In the very intro for this video, there's a latitude and a longitude showcase. But what's interesting, if you take those coordinates, they're both for downtown Toronto, but also the title of a track of an underground Scottish-based electronic artist named Jackie DiNardo. Not to be confused with the It's Always Sunny character. But what in the world is that coincidence? Like, for a coordinate set to be the exact same as an underground artist track, could it be a coincidence, or maybe not at all? I've seen a few other people on the Battlefield subreddits already digging into this, but not a whole ton in terms of like numbers of people doing this. So I'd be curious if this leads to something bigger, an ARG of some kind, like perhaps it's the backing track used in an upcoming marketing somehow. Maybe it's the preview of a map loading screen music or something like that. I just think that it's odd that it links to something that, in my opinion, is probably pretty easy to officially license from smaller artists and then put it in there, because once again, how in the world would that match up perfectly? I feel like that is just such a strange coincidence, if it doesn't equate to an ambient track or something like that. But as for other details, I've yet to pick up on anything just yet in there, but of course, if anything's found, we'll keep you posted. Now, expectations for this, of course, the clips showcased initially looked to me and to a lot of other people to be reminiscent of Battlefield 3, and the call out to the Battlefield 3 OST does help lend to that theory a little bit, which obviously is something that a lot of people would be really looking forward to, having that sort of aesthetic, not only just in terms of design, but in how it actually plays as well. Battlefield 3 is a golden age Battlefield, so I'm sure a lot of people would love to return to that sort of feeling and have the gameplay evoke the same emotions that you may have had back whenever that was the present game. Though, here's the thing, I'm cautiously optimistic. Like, 2042's launch was not good. And as with anything following up a did wrong by situation, I wouldn't pre-order this. Even as soon as pre-orders go live, they're not currently, would not recommend doing that. I'd wait until there's adequate footage, adequate gameplay opportunities for you yourself to actually get hands-on and take part in it, like a beta, to see what you feel about the game overall. If there's ever a community that can feel jaded by pre-release to launch expectations versus reality, I think it's the Battlefield community the last few years. Nailing this is going to be tough. It's going to be something that will probably be divisive and controversial to some, but now all we have is the information present here. So don't pre-order, be skeptical. It's well within your rights as a consumer to be. I do also think it's perfectly fine to be excited about the prospect of a good game and hoping for the outcome to be better than prior years, but until it's out in the open, take today's information as just that, information, letting you know what you should know about the upcoming developmental rollout of the next Battlefield here. So that is, we're going to wrap it up. Let me know your thoughts down below. Are you guys looking forward to hearing more about the upcoming Battlefield title here, releasing whenever it may? I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback. And of course, if you'd like to see more Battlefield content, make sure you drop a like and subscribe for more of that here in the future, because honestly, I'm pretty excited at the prospect of being able to cover multiple big games that I'm very excited here for this year. So I'd love to share more coverage with you guys. But for now, that's going to wrap it up. Drop your thoughts, drop a like, and subscribe for more. I'll see you later, though. Take care, and peace.